explosions. There was a heavy-duty explosion.
Some of the secondary explosions and then the subsequent collapses.
Another big explosion in the other town.
It's amazing. Amazing, incredible, picture word.
This very bad disease that's attacking us, we'd be able to attack it. So I think it's about domestic...
This is part of the Democrats. I didn't even know what that asshole was saying. Oh. But you know, see, this is the problem sometimes with government. Hey, do we have some fucking security in this building? Or do I have to come over and kick this guy's ass out of here? Could you get the fuck out of my building? Hey, ouch. You know, is it that hard to throw somebody out of a building? I'll kick your ass out of here, too. Get her the fuck out.
You have good friends.
That one's not mine. Oh.
What's that?
Yeah, this is the problem with live television. I guess it gets around that if you're on live, then the nutcase is, yeah, and you are a nutcase, Building 7.
It's funny, in America, half the people in this country think that drugs is what you have to regulate to make us safer, and half the people think guns. That's what you got to regulate to make us safer. But I always think if you're going to regulate one thing that has the most potential to cause death and destruction, religion. You got to start with religion. But once again, I have to say, their religion's even worse. Even worse.
I hope it is Barack Obama. Hillary Clinton is great. I think it's just time America heard the words, and now for something completely different. Yeah! That I'm a big supporter of Israel. You don't think the existence of Israel in the world is worth an American life or an American dollar?
Not only Israel, sir, but Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or Bolivia. I'm much more...
You're really not telling me that Israel is on a par with Saudi Arabia?
I'm telling you, what I'm telling you, sir, is I'm most interested in the survival of the United States.
But Israel is a democracy in a part of the world that has none. Now, as for me, I believe in evolution and intelligent design. I think God designed us in his image, but I also think God is a monkey. God bless you and good night. All right, that's our show. I want to thank...
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family. Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed.
Fire shall have its will of thee. Leave on no care, and all the winds make merry with thy ducks. Hail, fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.
When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant. I was molested. I was raped several times. Jewish mysticism and supernatural. I mean, to the outside world, everything we did was proper and right, and then there were the nights that things changed, that things just got turned around. What was wrong was right, and what was right was wrong.
Let's start with the resident Jew on our panel. There is absolutely no evidence that anybody other than Al-Qaeda was involved with this.
Because it is in those times that Jews, like other minorities, better get scared, better get angry.
Is this just a smear campaign for anti-Semites?
I think I agree with Michael. I mean, the blame the Jews theme is something that goes back about 2,000 years. I mean, it's a really hardy varietal. But look, I mean, we know who pulled off 9/11. Richard Minner writes about it in his book, Disinformation. He quotes directly from Osama bin Laden, who says, on a tape we found, we calculated in advance the number of casualties from the enemy who would be killed based on the position of the tower. We had notification since the previous Thursday that the event would take place that day, unquote, says Osama bin Laden himself.
About paranoia. Jews, like other minorities, every time there's trouble, we're scapegoated. We're not the only ones that are scapegoated, but we're scapegoated.
And most Americans, even the smartest of us, sit around and go, now why again are we here in the war? And when there are blanks, we often fill in the blanks, and those blanks are filled in by misinformation.
So we are suspicious, we are xenophobic, and we don't like anybody that's different from us.
How concerned are you that these conspiracy theories will take even deeper hold?
Look, I think it's entirely possible the kind of people who are spreading this sort of stuff will continue to blame the Jews for anything that can go wrong. I think it's very important as this war on terror continues to point out exactly who the bad guys are, which are Islamo-fascists who want you, and me dead, and want people dead around the country, and they're engaged in tremendous violence.
It is madness as well as idiocy to think that the Jews brought down the World Trade Center on 9/11. You cannot debunk this theory. You cannot debunk this theory. What frightens me is that the whole nation is frightened, and that fear is being fueled by this administration. The reason it won't go away is because we don't have an administration, as we once did, that said and counseled us, we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
We have nothing to fear but fear itself.
We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Exactly. We have just the opposite. We have an administration that fuels fear, that puts up the sign every day, that tells us, be frightened, stay scared.
9/11 is not a way to scare up votes, but a challenge that should unite America and the world against the common threats of the 21st century. When we cast aside the fear, change is finishing a war against Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan that we never should have ignored. Change is facing the threats of 21st century, not with bluster or fear-mongering.
Hillary Rodham Clinton is Jewish. She says she is. And it's been in all the New York newspapers. Hey, here's from the Austin American Statesman. Talks about George W. Bush going over to Israel. Ariel Sharon personally took him around. This is before George Bush became President of the United States. Clinton with Justice Breyer, his appointee. And then below that shows a picture of Bill Clinton in a Jewish synagogue, the Deputy Director of Operations for the CIA. And Parade magazine doesn't make a big deal of it, but the fact is that all three of these people are Jews. The top three people in the Central Intelligence Agency, our nation's premier spy agency, all Jews.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Barack Obama, the rising rock star.
It's about Barack Obama, the rock star.
His rock star popularity.
Barack Obama, treated like a rock star. Huge crowds, literally, they would make a rock star envious.